This is AL Automotive Reviews, and today we're talking about the 2021 Toyota GR Supra, a four-cylinder variant and a huge power bump for the straight six. Now that's what's in line for the Supra, and this is according to Road and Track and Motor Trend, Car Buzz, all of them. This is where the media is going with that. A number of upgrades for the second year of the Supra. Now, when the fifth generation Supra debuted last year, it hit the US market with a single powertrain, which was a turbocharged 3-liter inline-six, kicking out a whopping 335 horsepower, paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. And honestly, that is not enough because soon as the car came out, people started putting bigger turbos and they started going crazy with this. But at the time, Toyota repeatedly said in the past that there will be no four-cylinder version, and they will not have that here in the US. But times change, and now the option has come for the 2021 model year, along with the big boost of power for the inline-six variant. Now, while the Supra shares its engine with the BMW Z4, it did not receive the most powerful spec at launch. Now, the US spec Z4, which is the M40i, had nearly 50 more horsepower than the Supra. Now the Supra is getting upgrades. That bring an increase to 382 horsepower and 368 foot-pounds of torque. And it identically matches the Z4 M40i. Now, upgrades to the engine are accomplished by going to a new dual branch exhaust manifold. And that's, helps the engine to breathe better. And 6 ports, they're going to have 6 ports instead of 2, along with the new piston design that reduces the compression ratio from 11 to 1 to 10.2 to 1. And that likely allows them to run more boost, which means it's going to be more power to those turbos. Now, the compression ratio horsepower figures in the dual branch manifolds are matched for the B58 B301 version of the 3-liter found in the BMW M340i. The possible source, which is a possible source of the Supra upgraded engine. And when I say possible source, that means it's not written in stone yet. It's a possible source. Now, peak power for the Supra is available from 5,800 to 6,500 RPMs, with peak torque available from 1,800 to 5,000 RPMs. These figures also match for the BMW M340i. Toyota states that the updated engine will retain its eagerness to rev while producing more torque at higher RPMs. Toyota projects that the Supra 0-60 times will be 4.1 seconds, and it should drop to 3.9, which is awesome, with the more powerful variants of the engine. Toyota also decided to retune the suspension in order to increase roll resistance and enhance cornering ability, which you need if you're going to be competing and you're going to be taking to corners. They added a lightweight aluminum brace to tie the struts tower to the radiator support up front, along with the adding update bump stops and retuning the dampers. Now, adding the strut braces takes a page from the aftermarket, as some owners have already made the change on their own. This is easy because the aluminum strut braces from the Z4 are bolt right on. The ZF 8-speed 8 HP automatic transmission is retained as the only option on the top trim of the Supra, and most of the other changes appear to be minimal, as the curb weight only increases to 3,397 pounds to 3,400 pounds. Now, in addition to the higher upgrades, there will also be a new limited edition dubbed A91. It will be offered in a similar manner to the first year launch edition. Toyota plans to offer 1,000 examples of the A91, which will be available in either nocturnal black or refraction blue, with refraction being the edition exclusive color along with the special color. And I don't have any refraction blue colors here. So the A91 will feature a carbon fiber lip spoiler, which you see here, matte black wheels, C-pillar graphics, and carbon fiber mirror caps. It will also have an exclusive black Alcantara leather trimmed interior, which this is, just a beautiful design with this Toyota Supra. And I remember a lot of people were complaining about, these not being functional. Hopefully they'll change that as well. And that's the interior, and we don't see the headliner at all. But this is an idea. This is just like the normal one that looked like the 2020. Um, it has blue contrast trim with along with key glove and a trunk bar. The key gloves sound like pouches to protect the key fob. Now let's see if we see that. I think I may have pulled out the key glove. Let's see. That's it right here. This is a key glove. And this is really nice. You have the little carbon fiber additions. You have the leather, the soft touch areas. You have the infotainment controller right here, which you need. People be like touch screen, but you need this when you're handling turns or you're driving and you don't feel like touching the screen. It's hard to touch the screen unless you're at a red light and stop. You can't really touch the screen to decide where to go, but you can easily put your hand down here and actually move the mouse up and down, and click and find your way through navigation as you're driving without being so much distracted by touching the screen. Now there's information. Now Road Track has dug up information that pointed to a four-cylinder Supra in 2018. But once the launch came around, Toyota told them that they didn't have any plans to bring it to the US. Now the 2021 model year reverses that whole decision. Now the new entry-level version of the Supra produces 255 horsepower and 290 foot-pounds of torque, which may seem not too fast, but when that baby with a BMW engine is totally different. I mean, it's saying 295, but that's conservative. I'm sure it's up in the 300s. And I personally have a BMW that has this particular engine in it, and that thing is whooping fast, and acceleration is like endless, and you can actually do burnouts in that thing. And so I could imagine this being lighter than the 428i, that this is going to be amazing. Now, matching the base variants to have been offered in Europe and Japan, peak power is available at 5,000 to 6,500 RPMs, while peak torque goes from 1,550 to 4,400 RPMs. Like the bigger brother, the four-cylinder also features a twin scroll turbocharger, as well as direct injection and variable valve timing. And then wheels are particularly nice, especially with those brakes. They are huge, and these are the front brakes. It's a nice setup. Why some have been clamoring for a cheaper and lighter weight, variants of the Supra will get their wish. With new models, those that have been asking for a clutch pedal will be disappointed. That's not going to happen. Now, the four-cylinder version will also be only offered in the ZF 8-speed automatic. And let's go back to that shifter. Now, Toyota says that the smaller engine will offer better fuel economy, but will be around a second slower to 60. hitting the mark around 5 seconds. Now, weight for the base car comes in at 3,181 pounds, which is 219 pounds lighter than the six-cylinder version. And while much of that is accomplished with the smaller engine mass weight, it's also saved in other components. For example, for front brakes, features rotors that are 18 millimeters smaller in diameter and 12 millimeters smaller in width. The base car also skips the electronic differential and adaptive suspension for a traditional mechanical setup. Further weight loss from the interior with the switch from power seats to manual seats, and the removal of six speakers. Now, a lot of times when you get in these big, expensive luxury cars costing $400,000, such as the I don't know if it's not the McLaren, but some of these cars, such as Porsche, like they don't have power seats. And even the top of the line cars, like this particular, the light cars, like, and I guess that makes the car lighter. That would blow my mind sometime because if I spend over $400,000 for a car, I'm going to want power seats. But this four cylinder is not going to have it, and I guess it's going to make it lighter. And the car's still going to have the 50-50 weight distribution, and that's going to be awesome with that 50-50 weight distribution. But you can't beat that. And this is the Alcantara seats. There's really don't look like any leather inserts, but this is leather right here. Definitely simple. I don't know what this is for, you know. They don't really need this piece up in here, but they have it. Some people will call this a peanut butter guts, but this is more like a red. You know, it's not the peanut butter color. Now, in addition to the power upgrades and introduction of the 2-liter model, Toyota will also be offering a safety and technology package. Now, this package includes safety features like radar cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and parking sensors with emergency braking. In addition to the safety features, the package will also add some entertainment features. Now, it's not going to have the autonomous driving, with the cruise control, also steering a car. I mean, with everything steering the car and also keeping the speed and the distance in front of them. It's not going to be like that. It should be. You ask me, they should be doing that. You know, doing that extra mile and allowing that to be in these cars. And it's called lane keep assist. But I don't see that here. But it'd be nice if they add it. Of course, if for entertainment purposes, it's going to be a 12 speaker, 500-watt JBL audio system and wireless Apple CarPlay compatibility, which is nice. But a lot of people are complaining that the wireless CarPlay compatibility really doesn't work. But I guess, hopefully they'll work the kinks out of it. Now, the package is rounded out with the Super Connected services, which offers remote maintenance, automatic emergency calling, real-time traffic, concierge, vehicle recovery, and map updates. Now, remote maintenance. That is something weird. I wonder. The only thing that offer remote maintenance is Tesla, where they remotely do things to your car while you're sleeping. But I never heard of Toyota really offering it. So I don't understand what that means. It's remote maintenance. Now, higher trim variants of the Supra, such as the 3.0 Premium and the A91, will also be available with the driver assist packages. That will allow them to get some of the safety features separately. Now, this package will include radar cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and parking sensors with emergency braking functionality, which we talked about earlier. While some will be disappointed on the base trim was not announced with a manual, there is some salvation, in fact, that the 2-liter models shouldn't be as hard to convert to manual using the BMW 3 Series parts. Now, I'm sure eventually, hopefully, Toyota will change their mind when they see that it's economically feasible, but They probably won't do that to 2022. I mean, it's not written in stone, and no one said that that would happen, but you just don't know. Now, Tada-san, the super chief engineer, also told Road and Track and other journalists that this was a variant to perform a 2JZ swap on. Toyota has not announced pricing, but we expect for this Supra four-cylinder to be in the $40,000 range. In addition to street cars, the Supra GT4 race car will be on sale in the US starting August. The race car is developed and built by Toyota Motorsport, GmbH, TMG, and based on the street car, the 3-liter Inline-six has been tuned to produce 430 horsepower and is backed up by a 7-speed pedal shift gearbox, which is what you see basically here. Automatic that sends power through a mechanical slip differential to the rear wheels. And it's amazing, folks. Part of the power increase comes from, excuse me for killing this word, a Kropotkovic exhaust system, which would make for some good noise. But it's likely that we'll see it in the variant states of tune due to the balance of performance regulations that are used in most series that accept the GT4 class of race cars. Now, the race car gets safety upgrades like a roll cage, FIA spec seats, 6-point harness, but still drops over 400 pounds from the street car. And that one's going to have a 2,976 pounds. In addition to the safety equipment, the interior receives a carbon fiber instrument panel along with the GT4 spec steering wheel. Aero upgrades, some of the form of a front splitter, rear wing made of natural carbon fiber. Suspension upgrades include KW dampers and a front and the rear. Now, this is the car that's going to have some value to it. If you don't touch it, and later on, it might be worth some money because this is something that Toyota's doing. Now, enthusiasts are sure to be pleased that there are now more variants of the Supra along with more power, though early Supra adopters are likely wondering why the 2020 version didn't get the more powerful version of the car. Now, that's something to be seen. But as far as this Supra, Supra is an awesome car, reliable car. BMW makes some great engines and they do a good job on these cars. That's basically what this car is. It's BMW. And it is sharp, folks. Very, very impressive. And I would suggest, a car like this I wouldn't mind if it was my future. But it's hard to get one when you're already locked in a deal with the. I'm already locked in a deal and can't get out of it yet. This back end is just to die for, with these upscale lights in the back. Looks like a race car. This is just letting you know that the GT4 is coming. Basically, Toyota, when they first made this, they were letting you know that the race car is coming. And that back end is something that you can just stare at and just look at. So, rumor has it too that Toyota is considering, and they might consider, what is called the shooting brake. Now, Toyota has a pretty nice arrangement with BMW right now. The two automakers partnered together to build a sports car with Toyota, of course, what we all know, and BMW is getting a convertible. As part of the agreement, the Toyota Supra will never be offered on a convertible. The BMW Z4 will never be offered as a coupe. But what about the shooting brake? A classic shooting brake, especially we know, is a two-door car with a wagon-style rear end. Think of the Ferrari GT4C Lusso, or the old BMW Z3M Coupe. While we highly doubt BMW or Toyota would ever venture into this segment, rendering artists, which I don't have any pictures here, imagine what such a creation could look like. Even though the BMW seems like the more likely candidate for a shooting brake version, because BMW has done it before. A rendering artist, whose name is Sugar Child, has imagined what a super wagon might look like. And boy oh boy, his pictures are awesome. And if you want to, and if you're curious about looking at these pictures, you can go to Car Buzz and you can actually pull up the Toyota Supra shooting brakes gets built, and you can actually see some renditions of that. I, for copyright reasons, I can't really throw it on here because it doesn't belong to Toyota, but it belongs to this artist. And it's quite impressive what he has drawn with the shooting brake. Oh boy. You can imagine this. You can imagine this being like this, and there being a back seat, and the wing still being there. Now, and they have some crazy renditions of this. I mean, they're making this with the side view mirrors. You imagine the side view mirrors being right here instead of here. That's like too much, but that's an idea of what they think it can possibly look like. But that just looks crazy. I don't think Toyota would ever do it. But if they ever did do a shooting brake, they would just have the back seat here, and this would go like this, and it will look like that BMW shooting brake looked like, and that was sharp. But if the demand is there, you never know. Again, this is L Automotive Reviews, and this right here is a Toyota Supra, the four-cylinder, which is coming out. Thanks for listening. Remember, share, like, and subscribe.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more interesting videos.